Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a chief analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is daily analytical report where we will discuss the situation on the market. We'll try to look for great trading setups. We have some interesting occasions on the market right now. But first, let's start with the calendar as always. So yesterday, straight after our webinar finished, we had inflation from UK. Actually, this is the most important one. So CPI came in line with expectations. We didn't see a strong reaction in cable. Actually, cable was going higher anyway. And cable reached ultra important resistance, but I will show you that in a second. I will tell you that in the details in a second. For now, let's stick with the calendar. We had data from Japan about machinery orders, which came better than expected. And we are about to get data about CPI from Eurozone in 1 hour. So as we said, CPI day. Also later in 6 hours, we'll have Bank of Canada rate statement, and rate decision and monetary policy report and press conference. We are expecting rise of interest rates. We'll see if that will be delivered or not. So actually, calendar is pretty busy today. Apart from that, unfortunately, we don't have any fundamental stories on the market. All eyes are more or less on cryptocurrencies right now because we are having an extended correction. We already on Bitcoin went from $19,000 to $9,000 in less than a month, which is pretty interesting. Actually, I'm quite happy because obviously on top of that bubble, when Bitcoin was for $18,000, $19,000, many friends, exactly then, in that place, my friends were asking me, many friends, which were not connected with the financial market in any way. They were asking me about the Bitcoin, if they should buy it. I said that obviously there were not financial advices. But I told them, how do I see it? That when everybody's telling you to buy, that's when you shouldn't buy actually. And it looks like a bubble, and I'm not a big fan of buying on all-time highs. So most of them hesitated after that and didn't buy. And now today they are sending me messages that they thank me very much because they saved a lot of money, and many of their friends bought exactly then, and they are on a huge loss right now. Almost half of their money is gone right now. But that's about Bitcoin. Let's take a look on the charts, right? Let me go to the very beginning. We start with the gold. I was looking for a resistance on gold. I think I got one. We can say that this is a local resistance on gold. Let me just adjust my working area. So the resistance on gold is here, $1,345 for 1 ounce, 44. Okay. It should be broken eventually, right? For now, it may be a start of a bigger correction, aiming the uptrend line or even aiming the 23.6. But eventually we should break this area. On a daily chart, it does not look optimistic because, well, here is the hanging man. I hate this formation. I think that it does not work. But many traders do, so I'm just pointing this one out. But the next one after the hanging man is a shooting star. And this shooting star can actually be a beginning of a bigger correction on gold. Actually, yes, on gold, but it's a bigger correction on dollar. Right? I think it's time for dollar to recover a little bit from those recent losses. And it will be reflected in the price of gold as well. We can go as deep as here, $1,300 per ounce. Seems like a reasonable support and reasonable target. It will not hurt anybody, right? Correction is needed. Small correction is needed. It would be an occasion for new buyers to join the market, right? Those buyers who are buying here can capture profits right now. And after this movement here, we will be ready to attack the highs from 2017. So this is actually my view on gold, that there is a potential for a bearish movement here, bearish correction. American dollar to Singaporean dollar. The party goes on. Here, well, in most of the instruments that I will show you, we will have a potential for a correction on dollar, because that's what the sentiment for the dollar is right now. Actually, I'm gonna show you the chart of the dollar index first. This is the scenario that we created yesterday. So a comeback here to this horizontal resistance, test of this level as the closest resistance, and then downswing. And it seems that it's happening right. No, sorry, not this one, but I wanted to get this one. Yes. It seems that it's happening here. It didn't happen yesterday, but today the price was creating a hammer. Now it's something more than a hammer. It's even better formation than a hammer. And the price is, it looks like it will really get to the green area, which should actually mean like few days of a bullish correction here, few days of the strength of the American dollar. And back to gold, in those few days, maybe we will reach this area, or maybe we'll stop a little bit higher, like here on $1,310. But so far, yes. This candle from today is a chance for the buyers of the American dollar. It's the chance for a correction, for a short-term, mid-term strength of the greenback. And now, back to the dollar index. We can see that movement here aiming the mid-term downtrend line shouldn't be a surprise here. Something like that. I'm sorry. American dollar to Japanese yen. Here this optimism has stopped a little bit recently. I was telling you about optimism here after this breakout of the long-term uptrend line. False breakout. Well, because breakout itself opened a sell signal, but I was talking about optimism because the comeback above this uptrend line triggered a positive sentiment here, created a false breakout pattern, and false breakout pattern usually result in the movement in the opposite direction. Next one is Australian dollar to American dollar. Here also we have a maybe not a reversal, because Australian dollar is pretty strong, but at least we do have a hesitation, right? So after a very strong 4 days, here, and here, we got 2 days of a hesitation because price is creating dojis, pin bars with long heads, long tails, and more or less the same opening and closing price. That type of candle shows a hesitation on the market and possibly an invitation for a correction. New Zealand dollar to Australian dollar is a little bit worse condition. Here the drop is a bit bigger, and it can be reflected on, it can be seen on the price of Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar, where Australian dollar is recently much stronger than the New Zealand dollar. But anyway, there is a correction, obviously you can see this movement, but we cannot consider this as a strong one, right? We still didn't even touch the uptrend line, and even the breakout of the uptrend line should not be like catastrophic here. So we don't see that. We are still above the uptrend line. So if this is, well, this is a correction, but this is a very, very small, let's say lightweight correction. Euro dollar. This wedge that I drew yesterday did not work. False breakout, and that's the payment for the false breakout. Let's draw a horizontal resistance here. False breakout we can mark with the different color like that, let's say. Now I wouldn't be surprised if we would get to the yellow area, 150 pips lower. That would be in line with situation here, 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 maybe not. So we are waiting for this movement. I'm sorry for a second. And we are back. So my view on euro dollar is a short-term bearish correction, but long-term bullish sentiment still is here. Euro to New Zealand dollar, this false breakout is clear. Even the price finally created a wedge pattern, those purple lines. We broke the upper line of the wedge, we came back above the neckline. Actually 1 hour ago or 2 hours ago still there was a buy signal here, but now the price is like aiming much lower, surprisingly. There was this sideways trend here, so we have a potential support here and here. First one is already broken and we are aiming for the second one. I thought that after this false breakout here, when the price came back, we should get a strong buy signal, but the price is doing quite the opposite. They are coming back again lower, which questions the technical analysis here. Luckily I don't have a position here, but I will keep it on my watch list to see how the situation will develop. If finally we'll come back to the technical analysis, if we will respect technical analysis or not. Euro to British pound. Not that there is any signal here, because there is not. But again, I have that on my watch list. Because I'm not talking about this ascending triangle, but I'm talking about this rectangle here. So we are between support and resistance here. I'm waiting for the breakout of either an upper line here or a lower line here, because this will trigger us a proper trading signal. Okay, as long as we are between those two lines in this sideways trend, there is no real signal here. American dollar to Canadian dollar, full sell signal despite this small correction here, but I'm seeing here very negative sentiment, like again downtrend flag, downtrend wedge, downtrend. We tried correction, it failed because the price broke the support of this correction, and now we are going lower. As long as we stay below the blue area, I would say, as long as we stay below the blue horizontal area, the sentiment here stays negative. S&P 500, as you can see yesterday, this bearish day, bearish candlestick pattern. Well, after only positive days in 2018, finally we get a correction. It shouldn't scare anybody, because traders on S&P 500 on American Stock Exchange, they feel no fear, I guess. And you can see today even, well, Americans didn't start yet, but I can see a bit of optimism here. Well, American Stock Exchange didn't start, but contracts can be traded. And we can see a bit of optimism here. Euro to Swiss franc. Maybe that was a false breakout above the upper line of the wedge. If so, that was a false breakout, we should expect a stronger drop. This support is on the table. The next support is here. All right. I guess that the chances that we will get here are pretty high. WTI oil, here correction as well. But we are in a very safe place. Still far from the uptrend line. Still far from the first horizontal support. So this correction can go as deep as to 58.8, and still it shouldn't change like the sentiment towards oil. Still should be alright and will be alright. Sentiment towards oil will be alright even if we will get here. Breakout of the green area can be potentially dangerous. But for now it's less likely to happen. American dollar to Swiss franc, they denied this flag. They broke the horizontal support here, and also they came back above the downtrend line, which is a negative sign, and we should see a continuation of this movement. So actually on American dollar to Swiss franc, and that's one of not many currencies where the strength of the American dollar cannot be seen, because also, as we could see on Euro to Swiss franc, Swiss franc is pretty strong right now. That is why this sentiment towards dollar cannot be seen on this instrument. And now Bitcoin. So yesterday we were thinking that Bitcoin can stop here on, well, around, let's say, $11,000. Why is that? Well, because of the horizontal support here, right? We had a price stopped here and straight before Christmas. That was a resistance at the end of November. So we are thinking that it's a good place for the price to stop. We had a small bullish reaction. As you can see, the price tried to defend that, and it's not like they broke this straight away, because on H4 candles you can see that a few candles were above. So on H1 you can see that this area worked. Actually works all the time, because now it's a resistance. But eventually this support was broken, then used as a resistance, as you can see now, and now the price is lower and is aiming. The price is below and is still aiming lower. Why is it happening? Why the price is why the price is aiming lower? Because there is more sellers than buyers, right? But how deep can we go here? Where is the next support? And to estimate what the next support is, I'm gonna use the impulse equality pattern. So we had this huge drop at the second half of November, when the price dropped from almost 19,000 to 11,000, right? So we dropped like $8,000. Now from 16.7, 16.8, we broke $7,000, and I'm looking for $8,000 drop, so for the same drop as previously. So for me the aim is $8,700. Interestingly, from 19,000 we are now we dropped to 9,000. So almost $10,000 in less than a month. Bitcoin lost $10,000. Obviously, most of my friends were asking me to buy Bitcoin here. Well, if they can buy, if they should buy. What do I think about that? Here, when there was like the biggest mania for the Bitcoin. So now I'm waiting for the price to get to 8,700, and we will see what's next. If we will have a bounce here, I still would wait for the price to break $11,000, and then I would be thinking about buying Bitcoins. So far, as long as we stay below this area and we didn't reach this area, this support, and the sentiment towards Bitcoin is not very optimistic. I was complaining recently about the volatility on Bitcoin, right? You remember, I was complaining when, let's say here, because you cannot complain on this drop or on this drop, but here it wasn't very interesting. But Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and we got some new developments, new higher volatility, which is good. Cable reached ultra important resistance, which is created by pre-Brexit lows, right? So this is Brexit, and before that we had those lows in February, and those lows were touched today, which can be a good reason to take some profits, because now currently the price is drawing a pin bar. For the first half of the day it was a shooting star, so I can see a potential for a drop here, especially that we didn't even have a chance to test this blue area, which was important here. That were yearly highs in September. We didn't have a chance to test that as a support after the breakout. So here, look at that. Look at this scenario, if it makes sense. There's a double top pattern. The price goes down, breaks the support, goes lower, tests this support, creates a reversal pattern, and goes up. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I will be waiting for that. There is also a nice uptrend line here. Maybe it will be like here. We will see. Oh, we had this wedge. Why we cannot have another wedge here? Then we would have a bounce from the uptrend line and from the horizontal support in the same time. That would be very, very promising. FTSE guys, FTSE also had a very bad session yesterday. Even worse than S&P 500, I guess. What happened here on FTSE is in one session we cancelled the positive sentiment from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days were cancelled, were denied during one trading session, so very strong reversal. But I don't mind this reversal because what I would like to see is the price testing this red area. Red area is a recent resistance, upper line of the ascending triangle pattern. That was a strong resistance. It got broken, and broken resistances are likely to be tested as supports. That's what I would like to see here. So that is my view on FTSE. I wouldn't mind if that happened. DAX is in a little bit worse situation because, as you can see, FTSE have space for correction, natural correction. They can do it. DAX not so much, because DAX is very close to the support, and actually, if they will go inside of the wedge, that will be a denial of this wedge pattern, and that will be a false breakout, which can be potentially very dangerous. So DAX has actually a very limited amount of space here. They cannot go too deep, because in their case, going too deep will mean a sell signal. So they should defend current levels. American dollar to Japanese yen, here I will show you, because this horizontal support was broken and now it's being tested as a resistance. In theory, it should result with a further drop, but this reversal looks suspicious. It's a double top, double bottom formation. I don't even have to put indicators to see a divergence here. I think there is obvious divergence. We'll see anyway. Yes, there is a divergence here on H1. Yes, there is a divergence. So it can mean a breakout, and breakout here can be a good buying opportunity, although it would be against the trend, which I'm not a fan of. But when I look at the dollar index and other, I see a potential for the strength of the American dollar in the next few sessions. That is why I would at least consider buying American dollar to Japanese yen. Obviously not now, because we are still below the horizontal resistance, but after the breakout of the orange area. Once we'll have a breakout of the orange area, the sentiment will turn into positive. Short-term sentiment will turn into the positive one, and actually we should get a buy signal here, short-term buy signal on American dollar to Japanese yen, once the price will come back above the orange resistance. Okay, that is my view on American dollar to Japanese yen. Thank you very much, guys, for attending this webinar, daily analytical report. After this short break, and after the break, we are having a webinar about fundamental analysis. I hope you will join us. Thanks very much, and see you in half an hour.